Yo ho ho, Dom Mafia. Welcome to yet another edition of the Dom Mafia Report. And might I just say, I'm so excited for the New York Jets week for a variety of reasons. Number one, I believe that we're going to kick the shit out of them. And then number two, it just gives me excuses to make as much content as possible. In all seriousness, guys, I ended up bringing my very good friend Ian from Jets Central. It's an amazing New York Jets YouTube channel. And we are going to be conducting a conversation of exactly the weaknesses that the Buffalo Bills need to exploit in order to win the game. And I thought that it would be interesting for you guys to hear it from a Jets fan. And then say, for example, that you're interested in hearing the opposite take of what the Jets need to try and exploit from the Bills. And you can head over to his channel, and he has a pretty similar video to what this is, only vice versa. Yeah, guys, I'm planning on doing this once a week and for all the teams that we end up facing off to, so definitely be on the lookout for that. I need to give some giant shout outs because Patreon was lit, baby. Starting off with my boy Sonny Lamont from Alaska with a $5 donation. Sonny, thank you so much, my dude. And so next up was Jonathan Kotz, another $5 donation. Thank you, bro. You have no idea how much that helps out my channel. And finally, Troy Gabrielson with another $5 donation. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all know that the best way to support my channel is simply by smashing the out of that like button. But say you ever want to go the extra mile, Patreon is how you do it. And you can find that link in my description. One more quick announcement before we dive into the interview with Ian. I do want to remind you guys that me and Aaron Williams are dropping our Buffalo Bills and New York Jets preview podcast tonight or early tomorrow. Say that you want a long-form preview of what to expect this coming Sunday. I highly recommend checking it out, and subscribe to Believe in Bills on either Apple Podcasts or Spotify to sort of prep yourselves. Thank you, guys, and without further ado, let's learn what we need to exploit from the New York Jets. Yo, Don Mafia. Once again, we are stepping behind the enemy lines, and it just so happens to be against our opponent that we are facing off against week one. And I am welcoming my good friend Ian of Jet Central. Ian, what's going on, man?
Dan, what's good, man? How you doing?
Hey, man, living the dream. You know, it's funny because months and months of me just like scrolling through my comment section and seeing a bunch of like negative Nancy's being like, dude, there's not about to be a fucking football season. Get over yourself. I can't tell you how glad I am to be right. And so I'm not sure whether or not that like you experienced like the same thing like right during your videos the past couple of months.
A little bit. Definitely more optimism for sure.
Okay, so there was more optimism. Okay, well, that's definitely nice. And so like honestly, so did you think that the season was going to happen, or like what was your thought process like 2-3 months ago?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, man, I don't really know how long the season's gonna last. Like that's the thing. I don't want it to be, a situation like the MLB where the league starts, the season kicks off, and then you just see like all these players just getting it from all these different teams. And I mean, I'm down in Florida, so I get like a lot of the Marlins updates. They had like 6 or 7 players just get COVID like immediately. Like as soon as the season started, they had to just make a ton of roster moves. Because if that's the case, like, say for example, your Bills make the Super Bowl, Josh Allen gets COVID right before the Super Bowl. What happens?
Fuck.
You know what I mean? Like
he's playing, baby. He's going in there. It's that flu game, dude. It's that flu game, but it's the COVID game instead. And so honestly, dude, like I like hope that it doesn't like right now, like I am under the impression that the NFL is the greediest organization on earth, and there's no way in hell that they are going to miss out on billions of dollars. Like they would legitimately be having open field tryouts on Saturday, say that they had like 15 players on their team grab COVID. Like that's how serious it's going to. And plus, like, what the fuck would I make videos on if there was no football season? I legitimately wouldn't.
No, dude, that's what I'm saying.
And so me and you, we probably should start like a mukbang channel or something. Like a Zoom
mukbang.
Like a Zoom mukbang channel, bro. Oh yeah, must let's get
collab
that shit up.
mukbangs.
Just get that shit up right there. Yeah. But Dom Mafia, thank you for joining us today. Obviously, week one is here. Exactly what we have been waiting for. And really how I wanted to structure this like very short video, I just sort of wanted to get an idea of what the opposing team is really thinking, and then like those thought processes can help us really understand our sort of opponent. So like really what I wanted to do was like sort of ask Ian like what the Bills need to do in order to really win during week one. But I sort of went on ahead and I broke it down to a couple of different questions. And I mean, like one, like, right, like the big elephant in the room. We saw the departure of Jamal Adams. I want to say it was about a month ago, right to the Seahawks. And I mean, especially with the Bills, like new wide receiver addition, right in Stephon Diggs, and then the comebacks of John Brown and Cole Beasley. I really want to know from your perspective whether you think that your secondary took a detrimental hit or whether or not that we should still see similar production as of into last year.
Right. So, I mean, it's definitely interesting when you look at the Jets secondary, cornerbacks too specifically. It's weird because, I mean, you look at guys like Tremaine Johnson, guy was getting paid a ton of money. I mean, a couple seasons ago, the Jets made him the highest paid cornerback in the entire league, and he was absolutely horrible. Like, I don't even know if he's on a team right now. I mean, that's how bad he was. And then we had Darryl Roberts, who was like, okay, he'd make plays, but, it was just like, good game, hot game, or bad game, cold kind of game. So it was tough. Losing Jamal will definitely hurt, but, we definitely still have some playmakers back there, which is sweet. Marcus May, we traded for, Bradley McDougald we got in return for Jamal Adams, and he's like a solid starter. I don't think that there's going to be this massive drop-off, like this huge drop-off a cliff, in regards to production from this Jets secondary. But I do think it's going to lose a lot of the star power with Jamal being gone. And there might be a lot of mistakes downfield, right? Like in the deep passing game, just due to, Greg Williams' complicated system, and there's a bunch of young guys in the secondary.
Got it. And so, I mean, that's definitely interesting. Who's your CB1 again? And so his name always – and so he always escapes me.
Yeah, so right now, to be 100% honest with you, it's kind of up in the air. I mean, we got Pierre Desir, we got Blessian Austin. Those are kind of the main two guys, like as of right now. It's weird because cornerback – the guys I mentioned before, Darryl Roberts and Tremaine Johnson, were our starting outside guys last year, and both of them are gone. So it was kind of like just open season at corner. We traded for Quincy Wilson we acquired Quincy Wilson from Indy, which I really like because he's having a really solid camp. But right now it's scheduled that Pierre Desir, former Colt, and then Blessian Austin, who's going into year two out of Rutgers, had a really solid rookie year for being like a 6th or 7th round pick. And he missed his full last season at Rutgers with a huge injury. So the plan is for Jets fans to see both of those guys kind of progress because they're both younger, but at the same time, they're both injury prone.
Yeah, for sure. And so, I mean, I'm really interested to see who you guys line up against Diggs, especially against week one, mostly because I am under the impression that I think due to your youth, like rate of your secondary, that I like really believe that you guys are going to be running a lot of zone coverage because I don't see you guys faring out very well on many man-to-man type plays.
Yeah, I mean, it is interesting because Greg Williams, as like, scheme-wise, he does prefer like a more aggressive approach, like a bump and run, kind of knock wide receivers like on their ass early.
Yeah.
And the safeties kind of be up into the strong safety kind of be in the middle, middle of the action, just kind of up near the box with one roaming free safety, like way in the back. That's kind of like Greg Williams' system, but we'll see. We'll see how it all kind of plays out.
For sure. Now, right now, say that I were to give anything about the Jets that sort of worries me would have to be your run defense. I really like the defensive line that you guys have like established and ready to go. Last year, I'm pretty sure that you guys were among one of the better teams for stopping the run. Am I wrong or?
No, okay. You're not wrong.
Yeah, that's
number
right.
2.
And so as far as personnel, so were you guys seeing the same personnel coming back? Obviously, besides CJ Mosley, a linebacker. But so were you guys seeing the exact same thing? And should we expect it to be rather difficult for us to run against you guys on Sunday, or?
It'll definitely be tough. I mean, again, we haven't really seen any preseason games or anything like that. haven't had access to training camps and all that kind of good stuff. But
Yeah.
as of right now, it's looking like Steve McClendon's going to be that nose because the Jets are going to be running like the 3-4 system that they've been running for years. And historically, by the way, the Jets have been really good at with rush defense.
Yeah.
But as of right now, it's Steve McClendon. It's Quinnen Williams. He's looking like he's going to be finally a starting player. So I'm really excited to see him kind of play. And then Henry Anderson is a guy who isn't really the best out there, but he's solid, like maybe a little bit below average.
Okay. All right. Very interesting. And so, like, definitely our offense right against your defense is going to be interesting because, I mean, like, really just looking at this Bills offense, this is the best that I have seen, frankly, in, like, most of my lifetime because back in the 90s, and so was a kid and, like, really didn't understand a lot about the game. But, I mean, this is, like, the most electric offense that we've had. So, I mean, I'm really interested to see what we're going to have to do in order to get that advantage. And it sounds like that we just need to cross our fingers and hope that Josh Allen addresses accuracy issues over the and really just be able to attack that secondary. So now it really comes down to the Jets offense against the Bills defense. And in my opinion, and so, like, I really think that the only way that this could turn out into like a back and forth game is as if Le'Veon Bell gets unleashed. And last year he came off of his worst season of his career. Maybe a lot of that has to do with the fact that he took an entire year off. Maybe it had to do with your offensive line. In fact, I think that it was your offensive line's issue last year. It was why Le'Veon Bell wasn't able to be Le'Veon Bell. You guys obviously ended up sort of adding a few additions. You had Van Rotten from the Panthers. You ended up drafting Mekhi Becton. Do you think that those additions to your offensive line are going to allow Le'Veon Bell to have a significantly better season from last year and more specifically against the Buffalo Bills?
So it's funny that you bring up last season because I remember week 1, Le'Veon Bell was actually doing really well for the first 3 quarters of the game. And then for whatever reason, Gase, right, not really the offensive line, but Adam Gase just completely went away from him, right? We had the lead early or late in that game. I mean, you remember Jets were up 13-0 in the fourth quarter. You guys come back to win. I mean, like what kind of sense is that? It makes no sense at all. And if you go and you look at the stats, the numbers and all that kind of stuff, Adam Gase just completely went away from Bell. Those types of things cannot happen. When you're up by 2 scores and then you have one player, your best player on offense, dominating, and then you just go away from them and the opposing team comes back and beats you and it's a divisional rivalry game. Like, no, like that can't happen. So Joe Douglas, the new Jets GM, went out. He made it a point. We have to address this offensive line. You mentioned Mekhi Becton. We also brought in Connor McGovern, who's like the big free signing. He started all 16 games for the Broncos last season at center. So I'm really pumped up about him. So, we definitely have a lot of moving parts on the offensive line. We got George Fant from Seattle, who is primarily a backup in Seattle. But if you watched the Jets last season, which I know you did, the line was horrible. It was nauseating to watch, dude, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And so, yeah, man, honestly, like I'm like really interested to see those matchups, especially since like you have like a lot of new personnel right within that group. And I mean, then again, and so the Bills ended up going on ahead and they added some really cool pieces, man. We ended up getting Epinesa from the draft, who's like, he, by the way, was so excited when we ended up grabbing Brian Winters from the Jets. But then a clip from training camp came out and our rookie legitimately put this dude on his ass with fucking ease. And then was talking to another one of my buddies that's a Jets fan. And he was just like, bro, like Brian Winters is trash. He's a penalty machine. So, and so I'm not sure whether or not that, and so like, this is sort of off topic, but is that true?
Yeah, your friend's 100% right.
Your friend's 100% right. He's trash. Holy shit. All right. Well, I mean, Bills fans, let's just cross our fingers and hope that we move Cody Ford over to guard and Winters is just a last resort.
I do like Ford, though, man. Ford's a beast. Even if you guys keep him at right tackle, like he's a stud.
Yeah, for sure. So who knows? But right back to it. And so I'm really interested just to see what's going on with our defensive line right up against your offensive line, because I have a feeling that we're going to be bringing a lot of pressure against Donald on Sunday. A lot of pressure. All right. Last but not least, your receiving room. Last time I heard, you guys got bit by the injury bug pretty bad, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
big time.
Who's expected to be Darnold's targets
So,
on Sunday?
luckily for the Jets offense, it's looking like Brashad Perryman and Denzel Mims, second-round pick rookie, are going to be healthy, right? And then we have Jamison Crowder, who's probably our best overall receiver in the slot. So pretty encouraging stuff at the forefront of the wide receiving core. But behind those guys, man, it's just injuries and question marks and just red flags overall. Do you know Braxton Berrios?
Yeah.
You do? Okay, I thought you were going to say no. But anyway, it's thin, dude. It's a super thin wide receiving room. And it does kind of suck that Denzel Mims and Perryman are both they're not 100% healthy yet, but the projection is by Sunday they should be ready to go, which isn't really a good sign as far as depth. But, the Jets literally have no other options. So got to make it work.
For sure. And so I feel bad for the guy that lines up against Trey White. That's for sure.
I do too.
You do too. Damn, man. Well, I'm absolutely pumped. So to watch this game, are you live streaming your reaction during that game by chance or no?
No. Normally I'll do something afterwards. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. And so I was about to say to have the Bills Mafia go over there and sort of they could do like a double check and stuff like that or whatever, and like sort of watch your reaction for one, watch mine, blah blah blah. And so I'm actually planning on live streaming my first game reaction, and so I'll be at the bar and I'll probably be a little trash, but whatever. It's Bills Sunday. Let's make it happen. Last question, right before I let you go. What's your final score prediction for Sunday?
I'm gonna say Bills 17, New York Jets 13.
Damn. Okay, nice. And so I had the Bills 35-10.
Homer, dude. Homer,
dude. Oh, man. Interesting. Well, hey, Ian, man, I definitely appreciate you hopping on the channel. Guys, say that you haven't subscribed to Ian. Please do so. It's always important to figure out what is going on with the opposing team this coming Sunday. He's a great YouTuber. I will put his link right in my description. Subscribe. And besides that, guys, thank you again for tuning in. And above all else, let's go Buffalo.